Do I have your attention? 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 Do I have your attention?
Is you taking notes?
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your boy SimplyFoodByTy, and today, you guys, I'm going to show you how to make my naughty Christmas punch. So what you're going to need are 2 apples, 2 oranges, 2 lemons, 2 limes, a 20-ounce container of crushed pineapples, and then a bag of the Ocean Spray cranberries. So let's work on our fruit at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to chop off the ends on both sides of the fruit, and then I'm just going to slice these down. Now, to me, it doesn't really matter how you choose to prep the fruit for this. I prefer for it to be a little bit on the thicker side because you really want to see it floating in the punch itself. If it's too small, then it might sink to the bottom or like whatever the case is. So I like to have it a little bit on the bigger side. And I'm going to be prepping all of the fruit the exact same way. Now, just to give you guys a heads up, this particular recipe is going to be made inside of a 25-quart container. Now, this is a really large container that I'm making this in, but it's only going to fill it up about halfway. Now, to me, in my own personal opinion, let's say if you're at a party where, let's say the guest count is maybe 15 to 20 people. If you already know in advance that at least 15 of those 20 people are drinking, I would say double this recipe. And when I say double, that means double everything. That means the fruit, the juice, and the alcohol as well. The party that I'm going to, not every single person is going to be drinking, and it's also a potluck. So that's the reason why I'm only going to be doing half. But typically around the holiday season, or if you're having a big holiday party, I would say get yourself a big 25-quart container, or, even bigger if you want, and double, triple, do whatever you have to do to accommodate however many people are going to be at your party. So I just wanted to give you guys that heads up. Also, I wanted to say, make sure that you guys are really, really washing this fruit. This fruit is going to be sitting inside of a liquid, you guys, for at least 24 hours because you're going to make this the day prior. So you want to make sure that your fruit is nice and clean. And also, anytime you're doing stuff like a sangria or, punches or fruit bowls or whatever the case is, try to avoid getting fruit that is bruised really badly. You know what I mean? You want it to look appealing. You want it to look pretty. You don't want people to walk up to whatever it is that you're serving and it looks like, they're getting rotten or soiled fruit. So, you want to keep that in mind. Try to find the best stuff that you can find. Now, I will say this right now, because I know I'm going to get this question down in the comment section. You guys, you can use whatever fruit you want. If you know someone has an allergy problem, substitute it out. You can use something else, or you can omit it completely. You can use whatever fruit you want. I just wanted to repeat that because I know good and well someone's going to ask me down in the comment section, and I'm saying it again. You can use whatever fruit you want. Okay, so now we're going to work on the apples. Like I said, I'm doing the exact same thing with the apples, just cutting them up into nice sized chunks. That way you can still see it throughout the entire dish. Now, the one thing I will say is, if I were you, I would probably avoid using frozen fruit. Now, that I will say, because the thing about frozen fruit is all fine and dandy once it's still, really, really cold, nice and frozen. But the thing is that once frozen fruit unthaws and it's just sitting in the punch, it's going to turn into complete mush. And then that's not going to look appealing. And to be honest, I don't think it'll taste that great either. So I would probably avoid using frozen fruit. That's just my own personal opinion. But hey, if fruit isn't in season when you want to make this, or if there's a particular fruit that you want to be in your punch that you can't find and you are able to find it frozen, then use it. Use whatever resources you have. But that's just my own personal opinion that I wanted to, put out there for you. So now that we have our oranges, our limes, our lemons, and our apples, we can set that to the side and let's start working on the juice. So what I have here is 1 gallon of the Tropical Punch Tampico. Now, if you guys have never had this before, it's a very interesting juice. It's not like your typical juice because it has almost a thick texture to it. I said that it's heavy on the tongue. That's the way that I like to describe it. But it's absolutely fabulous, and it works best in punches, at least in my own personal opinion. I like it when you mix it with other things. So that was 1 gallon of that. We're also going to use 1 gallon of the Citrus Punch Tampico as well. Now, once again, if you live somewhere where you're not able to find this particular juice, honey, use whatever you can find. You can use cran grape. You can use Hawaiian punch. You can use whatever type of fruit punch you like. That's the thing about these punch bowls. You can mix and match and do whatever you want. I'm just giving you the basics on how to kind of put it together, but you can switch and swap and do whatever you want, honey. Now, we're also going to be using some Simply lemonade. Now, I think that was a 20-ounce container, I think is what that was. But we're also going to pour in that full bottle as well. Now, once again, if that's not the type of brand of lemonade you like, switch it out. Use whatever you want. Now we're going to be adding in, of course, those cranberries. Now, of course, you guys already know cranberries can be naturally a little bit tart, but honestly, with the amount of sweetness in it from all of the juices, they'll be just fine, especially if you let it sit overnight. So we're adding in those apples, our lovely oranges, our lemons, and of course, we're going to be adding in those limes as well. So now what you want to do is you want to make sure that you give this a good old mix around. Now, at this point in stage, like I said, as you can see, that's about halfway full. Remember, I mentioned that earlier. So if you want this thing to be completely filled up, make sure that you're doubling everything. Keep that in mind, just as a heads up. Now we're going to go on ahead and add in that 20-ounce container of the crushed pineapples. If you're not keen on like the texture of pulp in your mouth when you're drinking, by all means, you can use whole pineapples. That's also completely fine, because I know not everyone is, really keen on the texture of pulp-like things, when they're drinking stuff. So, you can use the whole pineapple pieces, or you can just omit the pineapple altogether and just use just the pineapple juice. Totally fine. We're going to add in 1 full cup of the Country Times lemonade powder. Now, to me, that doesn't necessarily make it sweeter, but it does give just a tinge of a tang to it. And I honestly do really think it requires it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get ready to start focusing on the alcohol in this recipe. Now, we're going to be using vodka and rum. Now, I'm going to just tell you the flavors that I'm putting in, but you can use whatever brand and whatever flavor you want. Once again, it's completely up to you, but I'm just going to tell you the measurements. So what I'm doing is I'm adding in 6 full cups of the mango vodka, and I'm going to add in 2 cups of pineapple rum. Now, what you want to do is once you get all of this stuff mixed in together, give it a good mix around, and right before you guys serve it, don't do it too far in advance, but right before you serve it, you're going to add in a 2-liter bottle of ginger ale. Gives it a nice tang. You guys, that's it. Serve it up, put a cinnamon stick in it, and have a blast. Don't drink and drive, honey. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Talk to you later. Bye. Simply Food by TY.